It's Most Things Kenobi, an elegant podcast for a more civilized fandom.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Most Things Kenobi, a podcast about Obi-Wan Kenobi and all things Star Wars. I'm your host, Leanne.
And I'm your host, Lauren.
This episode, we are going to review the last 3 episodes of Andor, which were what? 7, 8, 9?
7, 8, 9, yeah.
Okay. And we have one more, God help us, one more set of 3 to go.
Yes.
But we're here to talk about 7, 8, and 9, and we have not discussed this. In fact, I don't have any notes because I couldn't make notes on a high-speed ferry somewhere in Greece. So I just watched them and lost my mind and had no outlet, and I couldn't even take notes. So I'm going to have to do this by memory.
I took notes last night, so hopefully we can guide.
Good.
Because I was... All right, first of all, spoiler alert. If you haven't watched the episodes, go home. Come back later.
This is not for you.
Yeah. But after watching it the first time, I was just so depressed. I couldn't even make notes, and I'm still depressed. I watched it when it came out on Tuesday, and yeah.
They're heavy episodes.
And our Patreon chat has been silent. Like, no one wants to talk about it.
I mean, this it got real, and it got real fast. I will say, of the one thing that you and I discussed, we said it was done very well, despite how heavy it was, and I do agree. This shit was executed, filmed in such a way that I felt immersed in it, which is why it was so painful and depressing, because this shit was painful and depressing.
Yeah, right from the get-go. Well, that's not true, actually. Right from the get-go, we're living in a tree house in the jungle, Swiss Family Robinson style, in a jungle villa.
I thought it looked cozy.
It looked cozy, but what the was that?
That's the best you can do on Yavin if you don't live in the pyramid, right?
Why do they have a villa and everyone else is living in a tin can in some tent village? I don't understand.
It was give it some diversity. I don't know. I feel like there's probably more of those around.
Maybe, I guess. Someone was saying, did Hera live in one? And I sure hope so.
I hope so. If anyone deserves a tropical jungle oasis, it's her. Because she's there. She's there.
Yeah, she better be. Well, they do make reference to Rebels in episode 9, but we are not there yet, obviously.
Correct. Yes.
So, yeah. I will say, before we launch in, I realized we have had no flashbacks in this season.
Yeah.
In season 1, we were seeing little snippets of Cassian's childhood, moving forward. We see him on Kenari, right? Kenari? Getting lots of words mixed up in my head today. And then as he got older, we saw flashbacks of Clem and him together. We're having none of that in this season, which I'm kind of missing, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they have to cram a year's worth of into 3 episodes. Each 3 episodes. So maybe they had the time last season, and then we never really got any closure on his sister either.
I know. And there is a fan theory going around that really upsets me about that, and I don't want to address it unless we must.
Okay, well, then let's not address it, because I don't know it anyway, so.
Yeah, and I will never bring it up unless they make it canon in the next 3 episodes, and then we'll have to talk about it, but otherwise I never want to hear that theory again.
All right. I'm curious, but I'll leave it be. Well, where should we start? I'm gonna rely on you for the notes and timeline of all of this, so.
Okay. Well, we start on Ferrix. Oh my God, my brain. I'm so tired. We start on Yavin.
Stone and Sky.
Yeah. We're on Yavin, and Cassian and Bix are like playing house, and they have a cute little cozy cottage, and then Will comes back and implies that Cassian has been like separated from Luthen for a little while, and Luthen wants him to come back to work and go assassinate Dedra, basically.
Yeah. Oh. Let me just say up front, she was the shining star in these 3 episodes. Honestly.
She gave me such a mixture of emotions, and as she always does. Yeah.
But her performance in these 3 episodes was truly something, I mean, really good stuff. Denise did a job with this character. God. So anyway.
She's such a good actress. She
really is.
I have like no comfortable feelings at all with anything that's going on Yavin, basically between Bix and Cassian. So yeah. I won't talk the whole time, but I just feel like...
Please do. This is what this is for. If need be. I've
talked about this with a few people now. So because we're having these segments of episodes that are like 3 days out of a year, we're having to like suspend our disbelief a lot. I think in some cases, it's fine where you don't over-explain and you just put us into the situation. Mm-hmm. However, when characters are extremely different from the last arc set, it might have been helpful to explain why. Like, all of a sudden, Bix holds a lot of stock in the Force, and like, I don't know. The thing I do notice, because I don't want to get too ahead of us yet, but the thing I do notice is that now that I think about it, Bix and Cassian basically never have a conversation in almost the entire series where they're not kind of on the opposite sides of the conversation. Like, especially here, like having gone back and watched, they're not on the same page ever in this episode arc. And they very rarely have been since the beginning of the season. I'm kind of like noticing.
Yeah.
So I guess that kind of works with the way the arc ends, but I'm starting to feel like less and less like this romance makes sense. And
I don't think it's supposed to.
Yeah, like I can't tell if like the actors don't really have like sincere chemistry or that, because like I really don't feel much between them. I feel like it's very forced, honestly.
Yeah.
Or like, is it meant to feel that way? I don't know. Like, I'm really not sure anymore. I've been trying to give it a lot of grace because, yes, I ship Cassian and Jin, but I can see Bix being important. It's just starting to feel like less and less sincere to me, and this scene felt weird and forced, and Arthur even laughed out loud at a moment when like Cassian hits his hands on the table, and it's like, yeah, that was weak. That was weird.
Well, I guess I've never had strong feelings about Bix as a character, and it's nothing against the actress. I just want to say this up front.
Yes.
I think it's one of those cases where just because you've known someone your whole life doesn't mean you should be together.
Yeah.
Like, a shared past doesn't equal a shared future.
I think this is not my bias showing. I really feel like the story would have been stronger if they were not together romantically. If like they had stayed like a love that just didn't work from season 1. It really worked well as that. And now they're having to like back themselves into a corner where they have to like now get rid of Bix somehow.
Yeah. I agree.
I think it's actually like weakening the story the further into it we go, which is sad because, you know, I want good things for the characters.
Well, absolutely. Yeah, I think, honestly, what's taking place here is the rebellion is growing, and their cute little group, they're tight-knit, everybody knew each other and could trust each other, is like, is dissolving. And I totally get it, why Cassian feels the way he feels, because it used to be simple, not what they were doing, but they had... It's the same thing that Luthen was doing in the previous episode. He's kind of losing it, right? It's
Yeah.
Because it's getting so much bigger, it's lost its personalization. It's lost its the personal meaning behind it. So the thing that means the most to these individuals who were all working together in a tight-knit group is now their personal relationships with one another, because that's the only thing that's left from this previous group, is that they have this relationship, and Vel comes in and like they make reference of like, well, you know me and you know Cassian and all this stuff. And it's because they've worked together for so long. And now it's becoming, well, there's like rules, and they have to do this, that, and the other thing, and everything has to check out. And now you're under some sort of organization, which I can see why, again, this tiny faction of people who used to do things their way on their time under Luthen feel kind of displaced. But at the same time, I just think they should have they were so beautiful in the last set with the hand touching and like their give and take in their little, but who knew that would be the last time that they would have any sort of intimacy? Because now they're just part of a larger growing entity, and they're losing their own control. They're losing control with each other. They're losing control in their own little tiny faction with Will. Will's got a love interest now that he's worried about, and Cassian can't knock him for going after this woman that he cares for. I forget her name, because he did the same thing in season 1. Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's a natural progression for this. Like them versus, not them versus, but like their group compared to the larger rebellion that is building.
Yeah, I agree.
And so this is all part and parcel to it. Him with Bix.
Yes, yeah. I think my big complaint is that it's happening too late. Like they're waiting till the last second to start integrating these ideas and where they're supposed to end up in Rogue One, because next season, the next arc ends at the beginning of Rogue One. So it's in Rogue One, basically.
This is it, yeah.
This character, Cassian, should have been committed to the rebellion already. Like, this is waiting too late. And I won't talk about this yet because it's the very last scene. But I do feel like how they're establishing this, it does not fit with where he's supposed to be in Rogue One. So, I mean, it'll be amazing to see how they wrap this up. But at this point, I'm feeling like the wires are not connecting. There's a lot that should have been established already that isn't. And the motivation is changing now, which I feel like could really undermine Rogue One quite a bit. We'll get there. We're not there yet. But anyway.
Well, I will say that I did find some parallels. Like, it's tying into Rogue One for me right now with Cassian, because he said over and over in these 3 episodes, I'm not able to make my own decisions. I want to make my own decision. Like, I'm tired of I want to make my own decision. I don't know who said it, but isn't that what we're fighting for? Was it Clea?
Clea said that, yes.
I thought that was a fantastic line.
Yeah.
But what Cassian does in Rogue One by following Jyn is his own decision.
Yeah.
So there is a link between that portion of what's happening with Cassian that I saw, at least. But
yeah,
I thought Clea delivered a lot.
Oh yeah, Clea is awesome.
She's been one steady pillar through season 1 and season 2.
She is, yeah.
Like, if I had half the nerve that she does, like, she is a strong person.
She's amazing. Yeah, she's been a great character.
Yeah, I really enjoyed. Like, it's getting. There's a lot of things going on. We saw some old / new faces in these episodes that we see in Rogue One, which is nice. Some familiar faces, and
I know. I loved seeing General Draven. Like, I have a soft spot for Draven. I really do. I know some people hate him, but I really like him. I like that actor. I think he's just the right amount of over stuffy.
Yes.
And it's
on the
perfect.
good side.
Yeah, I mean, like, you have to have people like that if you want to succeed. You might not be able to be friends with them, but he's a good leader.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. And, like, okay, Everything is very cross-cut, so I feel like let's just talk about stuff on Yavin, and then we can move into Gorman, even though they are cross-cutting a little bit. Because, like, what were your thoughts on, like, the Force Healer and that moment?
I don't know. It's realistic that there would be one, right? And that they would be involved with the rebellion, of course. I didn't think it made any sense at all.
It kind of came out of nowhere all of a sudden.
It was like the wrong place. I don't know. It didn't do anything for me. I was just like, oh, we always have to have like something about the Force in there, and
yeah.
But it makes sense that they would be on the rebellion side, right? They're also hiding. Anyone with a Force ability has to hide at this point, and that would be the side I would hide with. So, and she's using it for good. She's healing the soldiers, and but I mean, really, did we need it? Probably not. To the greater arc of things, no, probably not. I was curious what you thought of the wording of Cassian is a messenger.
Yeah,
like let's not make his position in Rogue One ethereal. Let's just make it the strength of will and someone willing to sacrifice everything for a cause. Like, we don't need to make this a thing, like, do we?
Rogue One is about Jyn. Let's be honest.
100%.
It's not about Cassian. So if it starts to become like Cassian is chosen by the Force, like, okay, I don't have a problem with that he's special. They've always implied that from season 1. They implied it with Eldani, that he was the only one who was getting done. They implied it in Narkina 5, that he was able to, like, unite people. They implied it when they were showing Nemik's manifesto, and then they would cut to Cassian when there were certain things being said about being basically the straw that breaks the camel's back as regards to, like, the Empire collapsing. It's true. Without him, Rogue One doesn't succeed. So, yeah, maybe he is destined, and that's fine with me. But, like,
all of them
feels... yes, and it feels so forced here. They're like cramming it in all of a sudden without seeding it.
You could literally say the same about Luthen. None of this would have worked without Luthen.
Yes. And Luthen later, he's like, you appeared when I needed you. It's like everyone appears when you need them. Like this is...
If you're a good leader, you will lead the people to success. And that includes Luthen, that includes Mon, that includes Clea. It includes every single person in the rebellion because they're there by choice.
Vel? What about her?
Seriously.
Cinta?
Seriously.
Like, they're all important. And Cassian even says, like, I'm nothing special, which is funny because I wrote that line about him in the fic that I wrote. It's like Tony Gilroy read my story. But he said, like,
go.
He said there's not, like, the only thing special about me is that I'm lucky. And
well, that's what somebody who doesn't feel special is going to say. But really, there is something special about him. He's a good leader.
He's a good leader. And he, like, whether you want to say the Force is with him or not, like, in Rogue One, Cassian still hasn't decided how he feels about the Force.
This is true.
He says, like, I believe the Force and I have different priorities. You know, like, whether it's destined or not, he's not really buying into that. He's making decisions.
Jyn is the one with a Kyber crystal necklace. So.
Yeah. And when the Force healer says that he has been collecting things along the way, that's true of everyone.
Yeah, that's very true of everyone. Yeah.
We're a collection of every experience we've had. Okay, if you want to call it destiny or whatever, like, that's the same for everybody. True. So I'm not opposed to this idea. I just feel like it was an afterthought that they're cramming in here all of a sudden at the end and doing it in a way that doesn't make much sense. Like, why is Bix suddenly such a believer in the Force? That wasn't established in ever, and all of a sudden she's super spiritual. Again, like, if you want us to dispel our disbelief, like, I think that's one of the areas it would have been nice to see why is Bix suddenly different. Because it's really inconsistent with how she's been, and it's weird in this case, I think.
It would make sense if they'd have tied it to the struggles that she's had, because she's had enough to try and rely on a higher source, like an entity, if you want to say, but like the Force itself could move somebody in her position into a belief, because when you're broken, your belief, whatever you believe in, is going to hold you together. And that would have made sense. But again,
it's like something is it's just not connecting. It's not
just
bad.
It's just
off. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We're doing the same hand.
We're doing the same thing. Hand gesture.
One thing I did want to point out is a very small thing. The Force healer is wearing this kind of like reddish top. And it's like a reflection of the undertunic that Jin's mother wears. Jin's mother wears like a red undertunic. And it's supposed to be a symbolic piece of clothing that represents a belief in the Force. Not necessarily that you're a Jedi, but that you believe in the power of the Force. So that was a neat little reference there.
Oh, that's fun. See? Thank you for that.
Yeah. So, good, but off just a bit. Like, that's kind of how I feel about this whole plot on Yavin. Everything else, I don't have that feeling about, really. But, okay. So, let's talk about Cyril and Dedra and Gorman.
Oh my God. This, I have to admit, I mean, we're not, okay. Which part do you want to talk about before I get ahead of myself?
Well, if we're still in episode 7, it's before the brutality starts. So it's just like, like she's trying to set up everybody for what's going to happen in the next episode.
It's sad that he only gets it, and he gets it too late.
Yeah.
He only saw it when it was so obvious he couldn't miss it. Poor Cyril. He never stood a chance in any of this. You know what I mean? And there's a part of me, and I think it's intentional, where you feel bad for him just a little bit.
Yeah.
That you could be so dumb. That you can't believe. He's a good example of someone who can't believe that their own organization could be so evil. It's like, open your eyes. You're living with the woman who's behind all of this. Now, she's in a chain of command, but she, like the one guy said, you're the trigger, or I'm the trigger, you're the finger, or something, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Cyril needed to get this, like, years before he did, and he didn't. Or it goes back to the point you made in the last episode where he's talking to his mother and kind of giving the propaganda, but does he believe it? Does he not believe it? Turns out he probably didn't believe it because he couldn't believe, he can't believe that the Empire would do such a thing. And yet here we are in the midst of it. Like,
yeah,
Cyril, please. But I loved how they filmed when the moment came. It was like him, like in slow motion, like absorbing it.
He was in a fugue state. He was totally just,
I just wanted to say, oh, sweet summer child. You know, like.
I know. He reminds me of how we've talked about Savage Opress, where it's like, you're just you're a pawn.
It's sad. I feel more bad for Savage Opress than I do Cyril. But Cyril, there really aren't words. I feel the most bad for his mother, honestly.
Yeah. She spent all this time talking down to him, and now he's dead.
Well, I don't feel bad for that. I feel bad for her because she wanted this, and this is the result of what she wanted.
Yes.
And I've always said Star Wars is about choices, and not a single one of them made the right choice. Not a single one of them. But a mother still loves their son, and like now she has nobody. Yeah. But here maybe Deidre will go over and visit her. I can't. Bring her a pie or something every now and then.
That would be very awkward. Oh man, the scenes between Cyril and Dedra in this first episode are so weird. And why is she acting like this? What happened that changed Dedra? Like, why is she suddenly talking about being a hero and glory and good things are waiting for us back home? This is a woman who, in season 1, did her job well because she loved the job. She didn't care about accolades. I don't understand that change. she has seemingly been using Cyril this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, the sympathy or the remorse, I don't know if I understand that either. Like, their interactions have been very weird and enjoyable, but, like, I'm not sure that they make sense completely. Like, especially on Dedra's side. I can never remember say her name correctly. Cyril totally makes sense to me. He's been used as a pawn. Now the Gore know he's full of shit, so he's ostracized from them. And he's starting to realize that, like, what Dedra's telling him and the Empire saying does not match anything that he's been told to do by them. Yeah. So, like, he makes sense to me. His meltdown makes complete sense.
Yeah.
What I'm seeing with Dedra is that, like, she is being treated differently now by Partagaz. I don't know if you've noticed. He keeps her waiting all the time and keeps telling her, calm down, relax.
Yeah. Right.
Where is that coming from?
I think what we're seeing with Dedra and Partagaz is she's also part of something she doesn't feel she's not totally included in. Mm-hmm. She's been fed a lot of lies, and I'm sure she's been fed 80% of the truth from Partagaz about what the hell is going on, which Partagaz has been fed 50% the truth from Krennic, and Krennic's been fed 30% of the truth from Tarkin, and on and on and on, right? So nobody gets the full story because they're all expendable. That includes Dedra. And I think she started to kind of like Cyril because he's a little bit of a lapdog and she could always count on him. Whereas it's in the next episode, so I don't want to talk about it. What I'm trying to say
We're almost there.
I know. What I'm trying to say is I think there were doubts starting to form in Dedra's mind about a lot of stuff, but she has to push forward regardless.
Yeah.
And it's making her upset, and it's making her, like, she's there for a reason, but they're not giving her everything about this reason. And she should know that this is part of it.
Yeah, it feels kind of like they're undermining her a bit, right? Like
Yeah, because here's the thing, though. They could have plans to get rid of her. We know she doesn't make it to Rogue One. We just don't know how this ends with her.
Yeah.
So I have full plans that they are going to dispose of her at some point.
It's starting to feel that way because they're undermining her authority. They have this new guy they bring in, Kaido, whatever his name is.
That would piss me off. I feel for Dedra because that would piss me off. No matter what the job is.
Yeah. So it's like they're keeping her waiting. They're telling her to calm down. They're sending someone else to do, like, to finish the project that she's been working on this whole time. So yeah, her frustration makes a lot of sense to me. And she's like, okay, we just gotta get through this and go home and it will be fine.
We'll be rewarded. I'm sure they told her that, even though there is no reward. The reward is the success that happened on Gore. I can almost hear Tarkin saying it. You know.
Yeah. It should be its own reward.
Yeah.
Well, so the episode just ends with Cassian arriving in Gorman at the hotel. And then we basically go into episode 8, which is just...
I was actually surprised to see that the bellhop, the boy that he connected with, is now part of this. I like that. Poor thing.
Yeah, there was a few new members to the Gorman front that was... You can tell was as a result of what happened in the last arc. It was nice to see that guy because he has said that his, I haven't gone very far, have I? And it's like now he's doing something that's meaningful. I loved him. He was such a good actor and he broke my heart, truly.
The whole episode 8 broke my heart. Oh my God, it was so well done though. I mean, I had a visceral, like my heart was pounding. I cried. There was all kinds of emotions going on. Just the way they filmed this shit. And it was all like the Gore. They must have built that set, right? That was the set that we referred to in the last episode.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine the filming that went on. And the father who said, we can change this. It's a trap. It's a trap. It's like... Everybody realized it just a little too late, It's just very sad.
He seems so broken and desperate. And that actor is really good.
Yeah. He just loved his people. It's no different than Ferrex. You know, you're trying to protect and the cheering and the chanting and the song they sing. I have chills. The song they sang. Oh my God. Jesus. Yeah. And you know really what's going to happen. It
really is a pretty much a reflection of Ferrex. It's like very parallel, totally. And it just has a much worse ending.
I really love the episode, though. I really did.
Yeah.
For as heavy as it was, it hit home. And I did laugh. I laughed when Cyril and Cassian had their fight. I laughed.
You laughed? Oh, I loved it.
I loved it. But no, I didn't laugh because it wasn't good. I laughed because I'm like, here the we go. It's the moment Cyril's been waiting for. This is it, y'all. And when he said, "Who are you?" Oh my God. Doesn't that just sum up Cyril's life?
Yeah. Oh my God, it really does. The ultimate insult.
And that's the last thing he ever hears. I felt bad for him.
I did too. And it was over so quickly. I kind of like that they let Rylance shoot him.
Yeah.
Because that man deserved a little closure, even though it's sad that he's supposed to be, you know, a peaceful resistor and instead ended up resorting to murder. But
if there's anyone he was going to murder, it was Cyril. So
yeah. The man who, like, brought them into his confidence and then betrayed them so badly and then led to this massacre. Yeah, it's kind of what Cyril deserved, to be perfectly honest, even though it's sad.
Yeah.
But I loved watching him fight Cassian because Cyril had the drop on him, so he was able to, like, get some good punches in there and hit him with a metal pipe. And you're fighting a man who's been to prison, like, twice, and
it's true.
Cassian really, once he got the upper hand, just owned him and beat the shit out of
That's why
Cyril.
I was laughing.
It was kind of great. I did laugh. I laughed really hard when he hit Cyril's head against the yin-yang window.
Yeah, me too. Take this for your yin and your yang. Oh my God.
That was really funny.
Oh, but Cassian was so close to shooting Deirdre. He was so close. And Cyril was the reason he missed that one time.
I know.
He shows up and Deirdre's like, "What the are you doing here? Get out of here." Like, can't you go away for 5 minutes? I can't.
I know. The parallels are really beautiful. We're getting like ahead of ourselves even because there's this whole moment where Cyril goes into the crowd after, like, learning from Dedra that he's been a pawn. He's been used. She's known about this the whole time.
Yes.
And, like, he sees the KX units, makes eye contact with, I'm pretty sure, K2.
Oh, yes.
Then he goes out into the crowd and has this fugue state where he's just disassociating from his body for a moment.
That would totally be me. That would 100% be me.
But again, he has multiple opportunities to try to do the right thing. He could warn them. He could help people who are wounded, and he doesn't. His last act is an act of selfishness, attacking the man he's been fixated on. Instead of helping, he decides to, like, close his own loop, attack Cassian, and it's just like nothing could embody his personality more than all of that moment. Just
totally. Yeah.
I feel sorry for him, but he still didn't do the right thing.
No. I feel bad because he's so pathetic. To be that pathetic. Deirdre does have him to thank for not getting a bullet through her forehead.
Yeah. I wonder how he would feel knowing that he had thwarted that, because he wasn't doing it on purpose. He was doing it for himself.
100%. But and when they started moving those barriers and they brought in the young troops because they knew they were going to shoot them. They weren't going to bring in their finest. They didn't want to waste their finest. F*** you, Empire. These people are trash.
It was, like, sickening. Like, when you finally put it all together, it was like, oh, wow. They planned that and executed it perfectly, and that is fucked up.
It's fucked up. That was that's grade A Empire.
They had put a barricade around the memorial to keep people away from it, and then they pull the barrier away to draw people into it.
Yes.
On purpose, and then they make a pathway that is intended to just cause trouble. It's and then when they showed the sniper, I'm like, he's gonna shoot one of the Empire guys.
Yep.
As soon as I saw him, I'm like, he's not gonna shoot someone in the crowd.
The rebellious Gore are the ones that started it. Get the out of here. It was brilliant, again, but I cannot stand the level of just brutality that the Empire is totally cool with executing. Just totally cool with it. It's fine. In the grand scheme of things, how many people died? No big deal to them.
Yeah, they don't care.
Crazy.
And the thing that's really sickening is this is all based on stuff that's happened in real life.
Oh, I know.
And
I know.
For that to be the truth, it's pretty hard to feel comfortable at all during these episodes. You know, this kind of stuff happens in real life. This is not just in Star Wars. And it's happened over and over. It's not like an isolated incident. This actually happens often throughout history. Like
this
all
is human
shit,
which is disgusting.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
They're still good. But we have to face what we've done.
Yeah, what humans are willing to do to each other. Other animals don't do that. Just humans.
Yeah. Because we have choice.
Mm-hmm. And we have a tendency to choose. I don't want to be that person, but I do feel like sometimes humans are more likely to do bad than good. But
yeah. Well, the Empire is anyway. They revel in it. They love it. Bathe yourself in it. You know, the way that what's his name breathed in the poisonous gas. The Empire is breathing in blood of the bloodshed. Can we talk about Deidre's moment by herself afterwards?
Oh, yes.
That's probably my favorite part of these 3 episodes. That and Mon's speech, but Denise's performance, where she straightens her jacket and tries to stop her hand from shaking. Mm-hmm. It was amazing to see her show some emotion after all of that. And I don't think any of it had to do with Cyril. She could care less. Maybe just a smidge that he was out there and she knew it. But what they did, the unadulterated just brutality of it all, and knowing that she had the hand in it.
I saw an interview where she said she wasn't, like the character is not upset about the gore.
What?
Yeah.
What is she upset about? Not Cyril.
Cyril is what they've said. Which
doesn't
make sense with the established relationship
I'm sorry,
they
Denise.
have.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I agree with you. That scene is amazing, but the explanations I've heard about it, I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense.
I don't accept that. I'm sorry, Denise, but your performance nonetheless. Listen, let me have a moment where I think that she has some humanity left in her. Whether it's Cyril or the larger population, at least there's some sign that something bothered her.
Yeah.
But the way that her face, they honed in on her eyes, she has like I don't know if they just went with no makeup or purple makeup or whatever, but her eyes are really prominently bulging. She has very strong features anyways, but the fact that she was so tight, she was very drawn, and the jacket straightening really did it for me, because put on that brave face, girl, because you are the Empire. This is what the Empire does, and if you don't stop that hand shaking, you will be executed right after they get done with those outside. And she knows it.
They eat you alive. Well, and it was such an interesting parallel, too, to what we had talked about in the first arc with Mon Mothma.
Yes.
Just had a stroke for a second, sorry. When she wipes the tear away and then goes into the wedding. This is a very similar vibe. Honestly. Being eaten alive by your own feelings, and nope, you don't have time. You gotta showing no weakness at all.
When she had to stop her hand from shaking, I just thought that whole, I don't know how many times they must have shot that, but I just think she did. I just am always interested in like the behind the scenes, like what's going on. Did she add the hand thing like last minute or so? Just the little touches. It's just very effective. It was very effective.
I would have been interested to learn more about that. She's a really good actress.
She does this role well.
Like the way she's like clawing at her collar.
She's like choked by her own uniform. I find that very symbolic. Like,
yeah. Can we talk about the KX units?
Oh my god. Oh my god.
They were terrifying.
Terrifying. Now we know what a gentle giant he turned into after what he was meant for. I just love when Cyril goes in the room and they're there and they turn their head, but I'm assuming it's K2 whose eyes.
Yes, the eyes.
Yes. I was like, I know that one right there. I know him.
I had the exact same thought. And everyone else turns back, but that one unit just keeps still looking.
There's been something in his programming since day one that made him sassy. That made him just a little off, and I'm here for it. I love him with my whole heart.
The way they're like brute force. It's not even, they don't even come out with weapons. They just throw bodies around. Yeah. That was terrifying. And when they killed Enza that way, that was upsetting.
That was very upsetting. And she tried to scramble to get, I mean, I felt fear in me. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's not going to make it. I can't. Like, and you can't shoot them. They have no weak point.
Yes.
It's
crazy. You literally got to smash it with a car.
Right in the middle where the wiring is. I mean, holy cow.
That was terrible. It was so frightening, but like really well edited because my pulse was like this whole episode. I felt like I was on the verge of an anxiety attack. It was
me too. I was sitting in my seat. I'm on a high-speed ferry with hundreds of other people, and I'm watching this going, oh my god, I'm trying to not wiggle and all this stuff, and I was just like, oh my god, I was like sweating it bad.
I was shaking watching it.
It was my heartbeat. I felt like I put my hand around my neck to feel my pulse, and I was like, this is crazy. But it's the constant chanting, and then it turned into a more somber song. Like chanting makes you feel a certain way.
And the horn blowing at intervals.
Horn,
it was too much. One of our patrons said that they checked their like Fitbit or something, and their pulse was visibly.
Oh my god! I should go back and check mine from that day. I should. Maybe I'll do that.
You should.
Holy.
It'd be really funny to see.
My blood pressure's high as it is. Just being Italian and so. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. Well, after the worst of the chaos, they do that overlay of Drina is the girl whom Will is in love with. Drina goes back to the headquarters and starts trying to radio out her voice. Gave me chills. It brought me to tears.
That's why I cried too.
Yeah,
the pain.
The desperation.
Yes.
She says, is there no one who can help us? It's like, no, because the rest of the galaxy has been told a lot of propaganda and no one cares about them anymore. Oh, it's giving me goosebumps. No.
If they did show up, they would be executed as well. Their planet would be at stake. It's one of these nobody wins and everyone loses.
Yeah.
Because a senator for another planet is not going to risk their planet or their army. They're in too deep at this point. I mean, that's what makes Mon's performance, Genevieve's performance, I should say. Her performance is, I was bawling in public.
Yeah.
But
it was very moving. The last line of the episode is a broadcast that Edie is watching, and the last line says, "And the price we'll pay for our own safety." it's an Empire broadcast. That gave me chills. And it was just like, no shit. That's a great, because what they're doing is using this as one more excuse to, quote, make everything safer. But what they're doing is taking more and more freedoms away.
I don't know if that reminds anybody of anything, but it reminds me of something.
Some things, both
Just
current and historical.
Yeah.
Well, what you were saying about this no senator being willing, like that, this pulls us right into episode 9 very beautifully.
My God,
the whole episode is just about Mon Mothma's transition now.
Yeah. And now we know why Bail is involved. Why we needed a Bail stand-in. He did fine.
I did see Tony Gilroy say that he introduced him in the last arc because he didn't want to shock people, which is what I was saying all along.
That's what you said. I missed Jimmy, but I was okay with it because we got it out of our system from the last week. So thank you, Tony, for setting us up and setting all of this up.
Yeah. He did a good job. I thought he did a good job.
I thought he did too. I didn't think for more than 2 seconds, it's Bail Organa. I love him regardless because he's a good human, period,
Yeah, I think he brought the nice dignity to the character, and he brought the stature, and also his warmth was there as well. So I appreciated all of that.
Yeah, all the boxes were checked for the Bail character.
I felt so heartbroken for the Gore senator being arrested at the beginning, and he shouts, "Will no one help me?" Just
exactly.
And it's like, he will be forgotten. He's going to get thrown in some prison? Is anyone ever going to go break him out? He was arrested for just being Gore, not for doing anything.
No. This happens all the time, too, in real life.
So gross.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's heavy.
He also didn't really help his people, so go ahead and get carried off because he didn't really do much.
Not that anyone would have let him anyway.
It's true. They set him up for this very moment. They set all of this up for Gore. I mean, and they did it over a course of years.
He said, I think in the last episode, he said they don't even bother to lie well anymore. Like, they don't even care to, like, hide the lies now.
No. Yeah. Well, why should they? It's working.
Yeah.
The amount of stress that Mon must have been under to write and then perform this speech. And all I could think of when her pod comes out before she's getting ready to speak is that Padme would be so proud.
I know.
Did you think of Padme? Because I thought of Padme. How often she stood there and tried to be a voice for the underdog,
Yeah.
And here.
I know.
I cried so hard.
I did too. I was disturbed beyond belief by this episode.
Disturbed because it's so real?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The line about, what we know to be true and what is said is an abyss.
Yes. Yes.
It was stinging a little bit. Yeah. It was deeply upsetting.
It's intercut with them trying to stop it being televised. Like, heaven forbid we allow anyone to hear an opposing view.
When they kept saying the resistance to Empire norms, right? Like, that makes me sick to my stomach. So basically, you can't have an independent nation or independent thoughts because you have to have the behaviors and thoughts that the Empire says are okay. And if you aren't agreeing with that, then you're not worth keeping around.
I want everyone to hear what Lauren just said. For everyone who watched, who understood it, okay? Who really understood it. And I would follow Mon Mothma to the ends of this planet because she is one of the bravest characters I have ever seen, ever. And we need more real life figures like her on this planet.
Yeah. And like you said, the stress she must have been under. I kind of noticed that by the time she finds out Erskine is working for Luthen, she's very stripped back in her appearance. We've seen her decked out to the nines, and by this point, she doesn't have anyone she really feels safe with.
No.
And
imagine that. That's crazy. Crazy. That would cause so much angst.
Yeah. And she still has the strength to go forward, knowing that it could be the ultimate sacrifice that she's making. And there's no reference to her husband or her daughter or anything. She's just gone.
That's it. That's it. I was thinking about how Perrin wasn't a parent. Perrin was nowhere to be found, and that's fine because he's an accessory. And just like he's part of the pomp.
Persecuted as her ally if he doesn't speak out against her. There was a very deliberate line that I didn't hear the first time I watched it. I'm glad I watched with subtitles, because she says, in the days to come, I hope my reputation will speak for itself, for people who know me to remember this, instead of letting the Empire just, blacklist her, basically.
That's a really good point. Yeah.
And the fact that both those senators, both Organa and I forget whoever the lady was who yielded the floor to Bail, who yielded the floor to Mon Mothma.
Yes.
Like, they're going to be lumped in with her as well. Any friend she ever had will be suspected now.
Yeah.
But
only Mon knows that if Bail has to play another side to keep going, she knows that that's why he's doing it. They had their moment. And I respect that, because we know Bail ends up, like, in a year, he's on Yavin with her.
Yeah.
And that's how he goes to Leia and begins what we know happens.
Yes. When the Gore senator is being arrested, he says, like, he's shouting, "My people today, your people tomorrow," and they cut to Bail.
Yeah.
Mothma, in her speech, talks about genocide, then they cut to Bail.
Yep. It's so painful. It's so heartbreaking.
It's really well done.
It is really well done.
Can I also say, I have had a headcanon from day one of Rogue One that Cassian is the one who rescues Mon Mothma. Now it's canon.
I loved that it was Cassian, because I have chills again. The hair on my arms are standing up. I think it's very interesting that Mon is in a position right now where she doesn't know who to trust. She has no idea who she's going to be leaving with, because one side's telling her this, the other side's telling her that. She knows there's two groups, whatever. And the line that Cassian delivers is, "I have friends everywhere." And that's really what Mon needs to know, is that she has friends everywhere. She just doesn't realize it. And the fact that Cassian Andor is the one who delivers her eventually to Yavin, gets her out of there, I should say, is just mwah. Chef's kiss, because not only does he essentially blow up the Death Star, hand in it. He has a hand in getting her. He is a pivot point for all of this rebellion shit. It's really amazing. And it's not luck, Cassian. It's because people can trust you.
That's why I feel like the idea that maybe he's, like, touched by the Force. Yeah, okay, because he made Aldhani happen, which is the thing that launched the rebellion. He got Mon Mothma now, which is the thing that is solidifying the rebellion. And then he helps Jyn finish sending the Death Star plans. Without him, she wouldn't have been able to do it.
Right.
He makes it possible for her to succeed. So, like, he's the center of the rebellion's success. And maybe the idea that, like, the Force kind of chose him a little bit, I'm not opposed to that.
I'm not opposed to it. I just don't think of it right away when I think of this story.
Yeah, because we don't really talk about the Force in this story at all. And just the way he builds trust with her, because when Luthen tells her the night before, "I have friends everywhere," and then he says, "I have friends everywhere," the way he says it is like a threat. Like, I have friends everywhere. Like, that would scare me if I was her, because it's like, are you helping me or are you threatening me?
Exactly.
And with him, they've kind of, like, lost trust with each other in a way. So for Cassian to build trust with her and protect her in a way that she's not yet she doesn't really realize how necessary it is until he's shot like 2 people in front of her, and she's like, what are you doing?
Seriously, like, he took some serious chances. He can never go back. That's it. This is it for them. That's it. It's on. Like, oh my God.
It was really, I have to say, it was like super sexy. The moment where he's...
Wasn't expecting you to say that.
I love seeing him in like such command of his abilities.
True.
Like, he's so centered and he doesn't get rattled, even though I would be scared. And he's telling her, like, don't run, slow down. And then at the end, where her driver, Cloris, is coming towards them. Yeah. And she's like, no, he's an ISB agent. He's like, what's his name? And he's like, Cloris, I found her.
Exactly.
And shoots him. It's like, holy shit. Like, he just controls everything. It's awesome.
It really is. It actually is. He takes chances and they work out. But he's a thinker, too. He's not just an act or react. He never reacts. He's always in control, like you said.
He has a lot of forethought.
It's no wonder that Luthen assigned him this immense task. You know?
I don't think anyone else could have done it, honestly. And I didn't understand how they knew Bale's team was compromised until I rewatched the episodes. Yeah. Because you know how they have that sleeper agent, the woman who's the double agent. It's because she's working for Lonnie. She's on Lonnie's team. Oh. And there's a moment where they say, Supervisor Young's agent is on the line. And I was like, oh, that's how Luthen knows, because Lonnie is controlling the double agent. And he told Luthen. I was like, oh.
I didn't catch that. Thank you for explaining that, though.
I did. That's the little lines like that sometimes I don't hear and I'm confused. I have to rewatch with subtitles. Yeah. So it was, it was really cool. And then the scene of Cassian driving away with Mon in the back seat was so reminiscent.
Yep.
Of like how Marva was flying away with Cassian and then Luthen was flying away with Cassian, and now it's switched where he's the one rescuing somebody. Oh, it was very good. We have to talk about the end. End.
Yeah, the end. Yeah, which I know you have strong feelings about because you hinted at. You hinted but told me nothing. So I will let you have the floor. Because the end is Bix sending a cheap, I have personal feelings about this, a cheap letter. She sent him a text. She sent him a letter. She's a cat. I mean, I don't care who you are. Do not send someone you care about a written or spoken letter to break up with them. I'm just saying. Yeah. I don't care how long you've known them. A week, a century. Don't do it.
It's the act of a coward, for sure.
And she says that. She did say it. So at least she understood it. But that does not absolve her of this. Okay. You can have the floor.
Well, I'll start just by pointing out the beautiful parallel of Marva in this, because Marva couldn't go. You know, she says, you can't stay and I can't go. And again, it's just so heartbreaking. Cassian just keeps trying to like find that quiet little solitude and no one will let him have it. And he's saying the same thing with Bix. Like, I want you. Like, I'm choosing you. And it makes no sense as the character.
Right.
This character needs to be committed already to the rebellion. And instead, he's spent the whole arc talking about how he wants to leave. It's just out of character. And I just don't like that. But whatever. Okay. I can take...
Clea, she clocks him because she said, oh, you must be exhausted. Because...
Yeah.
You don't have time to be exhausted because they're all exhausted. Okay.
Yeah. And she's like, you just saw the Gorman massacre with your own eyes. One would think there'd be no stopping you.
Exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So that all gets undermined by Bix's letter, basically.
Yeah.
She makes the choice for him. And that is not what a hero would do.
That's not it. No, I agree.
Yeah. It moves Cassian's motivation from being internal, of like having a conscience and believing something to being propelled by an external force, which is not what a hero does. As regarding like the hero's journey, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So to me, it on his motivations in Rogue One. Because now what? Is he fighting because his girlfriend told him to? Because he wants his girlfriend back? Because he hopes she's out there somewhere? He was supposed to be fighting for a greater good. Not because someone told him to, but because he believed that himself.
Yeah.
I hate everything about this.
It goes against him wanting to make his own decisions because he didn't.
Yeah. She said, I'm choosing for the both of us. I'm choosing the rebellion. Once again, taking agency from the character.
No woman or man should make a decision for somebody else.
That's a gaslighting and an abusive thing that people say in relationships.
Thank you. Let me provide a different perspective because I've been thinking about this and it's been bothering me. Mm-hmm. This whole thing, I can't believe that Tony would do this. Okay. And who was his brother? Who's the other,
Dan,
the writer?
yeah.
Dan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to find something. I want to believe that this was her removing herself as the distraction so he could go all in, because I would hate to be the reason that someone is distracted from what they're really there for. If he's allowed to want peace and love and to get away from it, the fact that he thinks he could is crazy to me, because this is a galactic issue. It will find you even if you get a few years of peace.
Yes, yeah.
Like, we know this,
Totally.
right? So is he naive? Is he desperate? What is happening? We don't know. But I want to believe that Bix saw herself as a stepping stone that didn't need to be there, and she removed herself so that he could realize his full potential and go all in. Mm-hmm. That's the only way that I'm okay, like slightly okay with this, but it did not need to happen. What should have happened to be better, if they had to get rid of Bix, have her go to Gorman with him and be another unexpected casualty.
Yeah.
And then he could come back ready for revenge or something.
Yes.
A renewed
then he
sense
has
of
a purpose.
Yeah.
Yes. Or he should have been the one to choose it, one way or another.
And then if she leaves, she leaves. That's her choice. I don't know where the she's gonna go. Like, where does she think she's gonna go? She chose the rebellion. Well, where's she gonna go?
Go back to Luthen? I mean, there's still a chance that she might die in the next episode arc. And if she doesn't and Rogue One plays out and she's out there waiting for him, quote unquote, I hate that. It's weird. It's not good for any of the characters. It's also, everyone's like, it's so romantic. It's not romantic to tell another person what they believe. That's like a false sense of modern day romance where I know what you need. Like, that's insulting to a person's intelligence.
Very.
And it really pisses me off because they also have set him up this whole arc. He knows what he wants. And it's not in keeping with what Rogue One has. So they have to force him back around because the writing has put him in the wrong place.
Yeah.
By this other character. It is bad writing. It's not a good story arc. It really frustrates me. It's beautifully written, acted, and cinematography. It's gorgeous. Everyone did a great job. Yeah. It really undermined the characters, and I really found it frustrating, to be perfectly honest.
Did you feel just as strongly the second time you watched it? Because I've only seen it once.
Yeah.
Did it reinforce what you felt? Okay.
It did, even more so. And I actually had to like write down why. Because I couldn't quite articulate it at first. I was just like, this feels weird. It doesn't feel right.
I didn't like it. When I saw it, it didn't sit right with me. But again, I was in a weird, I didn't have that when I watched it by myself and I was writing notes and I could feel it out and pause it and this whole thing.
Yeah.
And it still didn't sit right with me. I don't like when this happens with characters. I think it's easy. I think it's lazy.
Yes. it felt cheap. It felt like an afterthought, like stuff it in there to like, we got to tie up some loose ends. We'll do it this way. It's like,
if they don't come to some sort of concrete resolution with it in the next 3 episodes, I will be extremely pissed off because of what it implies for Rogue One and Cassian's character. 100%. 1000%.
Yeah, I mean, Cassian is a very intelligent and intuitive person. He should have realized that watching Marva suffer, watching Clem get murdered in front of him, watching all of Ferrix get destroyed, watching, where's he from? Tanari. Watching it destroyed in a, quote, mining accident. Seeing the Gore murdered right in front of him. Eldani. These things aren't enough to make him choose. It's his girlfriend leaving that makes him choose. Seriously, guys? Like, way to weaken the character.
I don't think that he totally chooses it because she left. I may need to see it again. But I have a hard time believing that he would do that. Like, something ain't right with this scene.
It will all rest on what happens in the next 3 episodes.
And I don't think that's right. I don't think they should have done something that needs to rest on the shoulders of 3 more episodes.
Yeah.
How about we don't do this? Period.
I really feel like they backed themselves into a corner and had to find a way out of it. And the way they chose to get out of it was fast and easy and not right. It was not the right choice. That's my personal opinion. I know a lot of people disagree with me, but that's fine.
Listen, it's our podcast. We are all individuals, and how we view this media is just fine how we view it. We can all have our own way of viewing it. But I will say this. Everyone has gotten some sort of speech in I almost said Rogue One. In Andor, Cassian better get his in one of the next 3 episodes.
I've heard people say he won't get any because his speech is in Rogue One.
I guess. All right. He also had a bit of one at the beginning of episode 1 with that poor girl who... there was that. But, like, at the same time, if we're going to wrap... I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
I would really like to see the character have, like, a full emotional experience just once.
Yeah.
I realized last night there's all these long shots of Cassian staring, disassociating with maybe, like, and on Gorman was the first time a single tear, like, went down his face. He's lost Marva and, like, all these moments where he just stares in shock. Can we have one moment where he, like, has a complete experience, like, finalizes himself as a human being and moves on into Rogue One with a sense of humor? Because there is a lightness and a sense of humor in Rogue One in the character that is completely missing.
Well, K2 does come into his life now, as we know.
Yeah. I think K is the relationship he's always needed.
It's literally... If K2 replaces Bix and they have the relationship that was meant to be, I'm fine with it.
I'm fine with that.
Totally fine. It was so good to hear what's his name's voice.
Alan Tudyk, yeah.
Yes, thank you. It was so good to hear him again, and I laughed out loud when.
Me too.
Yeah, would you please point that thing? And the eyes or something. I just.
And even the way he says hello.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, yay. I just have to say that this block of episodes left me feeling as depressed as the Narkina 5 ones. So it was...
Same.
Every block of episodes, I have the exact same emotional state. So I'm hoping the next 3, I will feel like in the last season where I feel good at the end and like hopeful, but we'll see.
No, that's not possible because if we don't get Jin, okay, like the clock is running out. It's running down. Please.
He's supposed to know she exists by the time Rogue One starts. Guys,
they got 3 episodes, and if they don't do it, they have to. They have to. Jyn Erso is the reason for Rogue One. Hello, please.
Please don't lose sight of that.
Jesus,
like, she's the main character. Yeah, come on,
guys.
guys.
We need a concurrent series titled Erso, like you said. In the last set of episodes, I'm still thinking about that.
people on that idea so hard. They're like, Rogue One is that. I'm like, I think it would be interesting to see, but fine. No. Okay. So how would you like to wrap this up?
I think we should do a full read of Mon Mothma's speech, because we read Luthen's from last season. So we should probably read Mon Mothma's speech.
I love it.
For those who love it, hate it, feel anything in between, here it is.
Let's do it.
Fellow senators, friends, colleagues, allies, adversaries, I stand before you this morning with a heavy heart. I've spent my life in this chamber. I came here as a child. And as I look around now, I realize I have almost no memories that predate my arrival and few bonds of affection that cleave so tightly. Through these many years, I believe I have served my constituents honorably and upheld our code of conduct. This chamber is a cauldron of opinions, and we've certainly all had our patience and tempers tested in pursuit of our ideals. Disagree as we might, I am hopeful that those of you who know me will vouch for my credibility in the days to come. I stand this morning with a difficult message. I believe we are in crisis. The distance between what is said and what is known to be true has become an abyss. Of all the things at risk, the loss of an objective reality is perhaps the most dangerous. The death of truth is the ultimate victory of evil. When truth leaves us, when we let it slip away, when it is ripped from our hands, we become vulnerable to the appetite of whatever monster screams the loudest. This chamber's hold on the truth was finally lost on the Gorman Plaza. What took place yesterday, what happened yesterday on Gorman, was unprovoked genocide. Yes, genocide. And that truth has been exiled from this chamber. And the monster screaming the loudest, the monster we've helped create, the monster who will come for us all soon enough, is Emperor Palpatine. Well, join us back here next week for the final three episodes of... I can't even believe we're here. The final 3 episodes of Season 2 of Andor, which puts us right at Rogue One, at the beginning of Rogue One. I don't even know what to expect. So come on back and share it with us as we kind of feel our way through whatever the hell awaits. Join us next week for that.
Thank you so much for joining us here on the Most Things Kenobi podcast. If you'd like to support the podcast by becoming a patron, head over to the Most Things Kenobi Patreon. We're revamping our 3 available tiers and offering new and exciting content, and we hope you'll join us. For those of you who already subscribe, we appreciate every single one of you and thank you for your support. You can also interact with us on social media platforms, Tumblr, Instagram, YouTube, and Threads, and don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast player. If you enjoy our podcast, feel free to rate us on Spotify and Apple. And if you need just one place to find all of these, head over to mostthingsKenobi.com.
So until next time, my space twin, may the Force be with you.
Always.